pronounce your name? Surya, is
Surya.
it?
Surya,
Okay.
yes.
All right, sure. What is up, Surya? Welcome to the Content Marketing Hacks podcast. I am so glad to have you here.
I'm super excited to be here and share my insights. And thanks for having me on the show today.
Yeah, awesome. So, Surya, so you're specialized in YouTube content, right? I love what you're
Correct.
doing. I love the way you structure your thumbnail.
Oh, thank you.
it's actually really beautiful. And why do you like doing YouTube?
Okay. The one thing that I decide, YouTube is not something that I decided on my own. Okay. So if you look at a little bit, let's suppose you are planning a platform. Let's suppose you're choosing a platform that you want to create content on.
Mm-hmm.
The usual pattern that I was started on was like, hey, choose a social media platform that you want to go around and start publishing content. It can be Facebook, it can be blogs, it can be YouTube, it can be Instagram, whatever the platform it is. You decide the platform and you start publishing and hope people would come and buy from you. That's the whole thing that I was learning around. And that's something that I have been taught by the people that I was following. And as soon as I
Mm-hmm.
started publishing content on these platforms, I realized that, hey, I was publishing content, but for some odd reason, no one is actually coming in and even asking me on anything, buying from me. And that's
Yeah.
when I decided that the social media platform that you choose should not actually come from you. It should
Mm.
actually come from the people that are consuming your content, that are your dream buyers. They should be the people that should guide you. It's the same thing as who are your buyers? Where are they congregating at? And when you are looking at where are they congregating at, the one thing that you can actually start doing is, if you do not know where to look for or where to start publishing content, the one thing that you can actually start doing is like, look at the people that are actually creating your customers. Look at them, ask, look at what platform are they asking their customers to consume content on. And if you have a similar audience, that should be the platform that you should be creating content on as well, so that you do not have to figure out what platform it is. And as I was doing that for myself, I was led to YouTube. That's the reason I'm
Mm-hmm.
going all in on YouTube. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's premise of it.
All right. So you mentioned before in the pre-interview that you do the social media first, and then before you go into the YouTube stuff, right? So is there
Correct.
is there a story behind it? Like, why do you
Oh
transition
yes.
yourself into doing YouTube?
We got 5 to 10 minutes for the backdrop. Because it's a long journey, not a short one for sure.
Oh, okay.
So
Is there a shorter version for it?
yeah, I'll try. I'll aim to keep it shorter. So uh,
Okay.
couple of years back, this is where I would
All right.
say start. Couple of years back,
Uh-huh.
I stumbled upon Russell Brunson and I came across One Fun Levy Challenge. If you know Russell Brunson and the whole ClickFunnels
Yeah.
community, you would know One Fun Levy Challenge. And I joined One Fun Levy Challenge for the very first time, and I completely forgot that I was in One Fun Levy Challenge for the very first time. I did
Mm-hmm.
not even open the session, I did not even log in, watch any video. And after a couple of months, I realized that I think I bought something, but I did not go through it. And that was a scenario. I believe that you might have experienced the same as well, like where you bought already something, but you never had a chance to go through it. And that was
Mm-hmm.
me. That was me all over, like hundreds of times. And I realized that, okay, I have the recordings, that is really good, but I wanted to surround myself with like-minded people. And
Mm-hmm.
I have signed up for One Fun Levy Challenge again. This time I have it on my calendar. Really good thing. If you don't put your stuff on your brain, it's not going to take a lot of stuff there. So put it on your calendar so that you can actually follow up. It can actually follow up with you. To be frank, that's exactly what I did. And second time I started watching the live One Fun Levy Challenge, and there is this one person that actually caught my attention. His name is Steve J Larson. He
Mm-hmm.
yelled the crap off me, and I instantly fell in love with the approach that he was taking, calling me out, even though if it's a pre-recorded stuff. He I felt like I was being called where people usually do not call me and stuff. And I was like, holy crap, I really like the way that he's calling me without showing me a finger on my face.
Yeah, I
And
felt that.
so I really enjoyed the way that he created content and that he educated his content. And I started following him in person. And eventually I ended up like buying a lot of stuff from him, and I fell in love with him. I was There was this event back in like November 2020. He had an event which was like offer launch, and that was the very first time that I was going to one of his events. I was super excited. I was going all in. I was getting everything that I can do to get his attention to me, because whenever you're going to the live event, it's better to get the speaker's attention to you, so that they can
Mm-hmm.
recognize you. It's a really good hack if you want to build relationship with people. What Communicate with them, be engaging in their community. That's a really good place, because they have a community and they want people to engage in that community. So the very best thing that you can actually do to get their attention is to actually engage in the community. That's what exactly I did. And as part of the event, I ended up as in the top two guys who were like engaging the most in the entire event. And I had a privilege to have a
Wow.
one-on-one 90-minute session with him. And I was like,
Mm.
he's my dream mentor. And I got to have a 90 minutes coaching session, consulting session with me, him giving me insights on his business. And I was like, holy crap, that's a lot of stuff. And eventually he had an opening for the social media guy. And I was like, he knows me, and he knows my name, and he already knows what I do. So why not just apply and see if for any chance if I get clicked, I will be like ringer. And I applied,
Ah.
and of all the 300 plus people applied, I was selected as a social media guy. And that's how I ended up as a social media guy for Steve. And I did a lot of his content on Instagram, Facebook group, Facebook pages. YouTube, he did the stuff, but I was managing his content and managing the comments and community in the Facebook and YouTube as well. That's how I ended up as a social media guy, and that's my backstory when it comes to social media.
Wow.
We
So
good?
your story. Yeah. So your story is kind of a bit similar to Steve himself. Where he
Correct.
engaged in Russell Facebook group, and he end up
True.
getting a job in
So
ClickFunnels.
true. So true.
That
It's
is so
so
cool.
similar.
Yeah. And okay, so are you still creating content for him
No, no, no. We are
on
no longer
Instagram?
working together because of some parameters, but we are no longer working together. But I really respect him to the core. He's one of the people that I can call brother, born from another mother. I really respect him and I
Wow.
really care about him.
Wow, that is so cool. Props to him.
Yes,
And props to
such a
you,
lovely person.
All right. So, okay. And I actually thought that you were, voluntarily doing that. And,
Oh no, I was actually getting paid. That's the beauty of it.
oh, dang, that is so cool. All right. So, okay. So you specialize in YouTube content. Okay. You talk about
Correct.
creating endless content ideas in your YouTube channel. You talk all
Correct.
things about content, uh,
True.
and a lot of content actually.
Correct.
So it seems that you specialize in content. Okay, in content marketing.
True.
So I want to know what mistakes that you see people do in content marketing.
So, if I have to go back and refer, I love stories, by the way, just in case if you're feeling like, hey, I'm sharing a lot of stories. Yeah, that's what my mentor taught me, and that's what all the people that I followed do. So, why I do not want to be a pioneer. So, I share a lot of stories, and my stories are something that actually helped me learn from this. So, story here it comes. So,
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of things. In fact, as I was working alongside Steve, I have created something called 10 immutable laws of content. These are the
Wow.
laws. Again, I created them, and I if you know 21 immutable laws of marketing, that's where I took the headline from. It was really
Yeah.
good. So
Yeah,
10
I read that
immutable
book.
laws of content, that's where I created 10 laws
Uh-huh.
that help me guide when I'm creating content, when I'm planning my content. And the
Mm-hmm.
each law has one failure behind it where I failed personally, and that became the law, so that I do not go beyond them if when I'm creating content. And I'll share you quick two things that help me create two laws. Okay. When I'm creating content for Steve, this was first few days when I was onboarded as a social media guy for him. I
Mm-hmm.
went ahead and created a bunch of carousel posts, and I created a bunch of images for Facebook group and stuff, everything. You know, when you get to be working with your dream mentor, you will be going all around the place. You will be so excited, you will be encouraging and doing all the stuff without giving any guidance because you love him. And I was
Yeah.
doing the same thing, and I created a bunch of stuff, and I realized that we were on the call with Steve and we were planning something called campaign calendar. And I
Mm-hmm.
was not aware of a campaign calendar prior to that point of time. And the campaign calendar says that, hey, this is the day that we are actually promoting this piece of content and this piece of event, this piece of program. Anything that is a revenue based activity, it goes on the calendar.
Mm.
And the event was of a launch or something like that, and I created all the posts, all the social media content that is completely contradicting the event. So basically everything that I actually created gone to drain. That is when
Mm.
I realized that you do not create content for the sake of creating content. That is what exactly I did. Do not riff content. You can riff on any other social media platform, any other videos, but that is not how, if you want to generate leads, that is not how it's going to work. You need to plan your content based on the thing that you're actually promoting. You reverse engineer stuff and see, hey, what are some of the things that my customers need to believe in before even showing them the offer? What are the stuff that they have challenges around? What are their objection based content, education based content, every piece of content that actually moves them towards the offer, towards the event, towards the program that you wanted to do, towards the webinar that you wanted to do. It's like a customer journey. That's a content journey, by the way. That's what I call. You have to walk them through the journey towards the offer through your content. And that is the very first thing that I have
Mm-hmm.
learned. That is one of the laws. Do not riff content. Plan your content based on the event, based on the offer that you're actually promoting. And the second thing, even though I was doing all of this stuff, the one thing I did not do was like, I was creating content, but whenever someone consumed a piece of content, they did not know what to do next. It's like take Google Maps for example. You set a destination, and Google started giving you instructions, and when you say that, hey, go 2 miles forward, and did not give you any instructions from there, what should you do?
Yeah.
You have left, right, and you have straight. What would you do? That is what exactly I was doing. I said that I was creating content, I was doing something, but I was saying that, hey, go 2 meters forward, 2 miles forward, and I was not taking them anywhere. It sucks, by the way. I
Mm-hmm.
felt that because I was not, there were a lot of leads that I missed. Not a really good thing. In fact, there was a situation where I actually missed 345 leads just because I did not know one specific aspect in Instagram. That
Uh-huh.
sucks. Really. The day before I
So
said that we have 345 leads, the day after I said that we have zero leads because I did not keep track of them.
so this is the time where you work for Steve, right? Where you create content
Correct.
for him and you
Correct.
get leads. Okay. You
I
get leads
got
but you don't
leads.
know. Okay.
There was this one feature that I did not know in his platform that made me lose all of these leads. I did not, I was not able to see those data.
Mm.
That is not a really good place for to be in, especially when you're starting out and when you're working with your mentor.
Mm.
So really be careful on the details. But anyways, coming back. So when I was creating content, the one thing that was missing was call to actions. But you might be
Mm.
asking me saying that, hey Surya, should I have call to actions on every single post on my social media content, whatever platform that you choose? It can be YouTube, it can be Instagram, it can be Facebook, it can be podcasting. Doesn't matter what it is. You need to have a call to action. Is
Mm-hmm.
it too much? Yes, it will be too much, because if you do not do it, it will cost you too much, because you do not know what piece of content your customer is actually coming into your world.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So always have a call to action, no matter what content that you are creating. If you're creating Instagram post, put the call to action in the description section. Facebook group, do the same thing. YouTube content, YouTube, have a call to action in the last 5 to 6 seconds. Podcast outros, everything or have a call to action. If you're wondering like what call to action should I have, you can have a same call to action on whatever that you're actually promoting for every single post that you do. It's completely okay. The one thing that came to realize is that no one fucking gives a thought on what was your call to action like yesterday on the previous post, what would be call to action on the next post. They do not have that much time to think about that. All they want to
Mm-hmm.
do is like, what is now? That's it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
second rule, second law, have call to actions no matter what it is, no matter what piece of content it is. So these are the two mistakes that I did that costed me like crazy. Don't do that for sure. So yeah, these are the two things I would say, and there are 8 more. Ashraf, just let me know. I'll be sharing you a downloadable document. It's just one page stuff. I'll send it to you so that you can share it with your viewers.
Awesome. So,
Cool.
Surya, just before we go into the next question, I just want to remind you that this is PG-13. So, let's not
Uh-huh.
use that word again, you know,
Oh, sure,
the
sure,
F
sure,
word.
sure, sure,
Yeah.
sure. Okay,
All
cool,
right.
cool, cool.
All right. That's all. Okay. So, okay. So, when you promote something, right? What did you promote before when you work for Steve?
There were events. There was uh, offer launch event, offer lab event, and there was like offer mind, and there was internet launch secrets. If you have been through those, yeah, these are some of the things that I have actually created content for.
Uh-huh. Okay.
There were
So, what
different
did
things. The good thing is that it's not there is webinars, there is events, there is in-person events, there are live events, and it's different
mm-hmm.
things. No matter what no matter what you're actually promoting, the principle still stands the same. It's just a question of how are you taking that principle and applying it for this offer. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So what didn't so you mentioned before that a lot of content that you create before didn't work, right? A lot of them
Correct.
went to trash. So what kind of
So
content
true.
that didn't work?
It would be so embarrassing to share myself, but yeah, that is what teaches us a lot of stuff. It's not the
Yeah,
success that teaches us stuff. It's the
yeah.
failures that actually teaches us to help us move forward to succeed. And I'm happy to share my failures.
Mm-hmm.
So coming back to the question of what did not work for me, do you know the concept of omnipresence,
Yeah,
creating
yeah. I learned it
content on all
from
the social media platforms? Correct.
yeah. I learned it
I
from
was
Feng Jun.
creating correct. I
Okay.
respect that. Thought I did that. I have been there. I was creating content on Instagram, Facebook group, Facebook page, my own business, YouTube. The one thing that after doing all of that was like it takes a lot of time. If you do not know by any chance, like for who's watching this video, if you do not know what omnipresence is, omnipresence is like, let's suppose you are watching this video, we rip this audio and we put it on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We edit a specific section of this video and we put it on Instagram reels, Instagram TV, IGTV. They're using different platforms to get people's attention. That's what omnipresence is. And I was
Mm-hmm.
doing that stuff, and the biggest challenge that I was facing was like it took a lot of time, and
Mm-hmm.
that time was not focused on based activities. These are the stuff that I was doing behind the scenes. And that was one of the things. And when I was doing all of these things, I was spending more of my time, which is more valuable. I was spending most of my time editing stuff and making content specific content, rather than actually creating more content to get more people into my world. So one of my biggest mistakes that did not work was like going omnipresent and creating content on all the specific platforms based on one piece of content. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason I say that did not work for me is because the intent of the people that are watching on YouTube is completely different than the intent of the people that are consuming content on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Okay, Ashraf, a quick question for you. What
Yeah.
is the number one platform that you go for when you have a question, when you want to solve a problem? What is the one platform that you go for?
So Facebook, I
Can
think,
be.
especially if I have the community for that, right? So
Cool.
yeah, you just
And if you want to chill stuff, if you want to some pass some time, what is the platform that you go for?
YouTube, definitely. I think I
There
go
you
to
go.
YouTube.
So that is a key principle. For every individual person, there are two types of platform. There is something called primary based platform and secondary based platform. One platform that they is a go-to for solving a specific problem for solving. For me, it is YouTube. I go to YouTube whenever
Mm,
I have a challenge. I go to YouTube, watch a video, and solve my problem.
uh-huh.
And if I have some leisure time, and if I want to spend some time watching some videos to just to entertain myself, I go to Instagram. So every
Mhm.
individual person, each and individual customer of yours have these characters as well. There is one social media platform that they go to for solving a problem, and one go to platform for entertaining themselves. And my go to platform, my customers go to platform when it comes to solving a problem is YouTube. So I be on YouTube.
Wow.
Make sense?
Yeah.
So
All right.
yeah,
So, okay. That's awesome. So the reason why you do YouTube is because you want to, you want to be omnipresent
correct.
because you can
I
use it. Yeah.
Coming back to again, I felt that I kind of left that question off. So coming back to the omnipresence thing, whenever I'm creating content on YouTube, I'm not actually ripping it off and putting it on podcast. I'm not segmenting it and putting it on Instagram. The one thing
Uh-huh.
that I see that worked for me, I'm not saying that would work for you or whoever that is watching. I'm not saying anything. The one thing that has worked for me is focus, because that was one of the biggest thing that was missing when I was doing all of these things. I was
Mm-hmm.
distracting myself from actually doing stuff by just thinking stuff. And thinking does not help you in any form or shape. Thinking, when put in action, only gets you results.
Yeah.
So I focus on one specific platform till I hit $1 million in revenue from that specific platform. It doesn't mean that, hey, Surya, would you be using ads? Should I only use content? Do whatever works for you. If you already have a proven funnel, proven offer that you are already working, that is actually working for you on other traffic sources like Facebook ads, Instagram ads, do that. Use a different social media platform. If after you hit $1 million from that one specific source, branch out to the second one. And if you are in a state that, hey, I do not have much following, I do not have much of an online presence, I'm just starting out from scratch, and I need to put money, I need to get leads in so that I can actually call them and close them and make my offer validated. If you are in such a place, then focus on one specific platform, which is can be YouTube, it can be podcasting, it can be a Facebook group, doesn't matter what it is. You need to be there with focus, and focus alone is not going to help you. And one of the biggest things that I realized is that this happened to me. Let me know if this happened to you as well. I created a lot of
Okay.
content and I put a lot of energy into creating one piece of content, and I
Yeah.
put there online, and I was crossing my fingers and saying that, hey, this is going to go viral. My life is going to change and I am going to be a millionaire for sure. Did that happen for you?
Yeah. Yeah. I can relate to that.
It did happen to me like every single time. Whenever you're creating content, the one thing that you need to realize is that you're creating content to get leads down the line. There are two things again: getting leads right now and getting leads down the line. Getting leads right now include like Facebook ads, anything that you can buy. Whenever you can buy speed with money, that is getting leads right now.
Mm-hmm.
Webinars, anything through ads, anything, that is what it is. If you're not in place for that, spend time to get leads by actually talking to them. And if you have got time, definitely do create content so that you can actually get leads down the line as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, when it comes to focus, when it comes to creating content, I focus on one platform, one traffic source at any given point of time until unless I hit $1 million through that specific platform. It can be through ads, it can be through organic, doesn't matter what it is. One platform gets my complete focus, and then only then I branch out.
Wow. Awesome. So okay, so now you put all your energy into YouTube, right? I can see
Correct.
that you are consistently publishing it on YouTube.
Correct.
So yeah. It's awesome. I think for me, YouTube is a bit harder because there's a lot of editing. I don't know
Oh
about you.
yes,
Maybe,
for sure,
yeah,
for sure. I can relate to that 150%.
yeah,
It takes a lot of
uh,
time. Usually,
yeah.
what's your how much time does it take to you to come up with content?
So I spend my time once in every month, in the
Good,
beginning of every month. So I spend a lot of them brainstorming ideas. It took
that's
me
good.
1 day, yeah, for a
Good.
whole month of idea.
Good. The reason I brought that question is because some of the people that are watching might be having like, "Hey, Surya, how do I come up with content? How do I come up with content ideas?" This
Yeah.
is what I did. So Ashraf said that he spends like 1 day to come up with 1 month worth of content. What I
Mm-hmm.
did was like I spent approximately half a day, and I came up with
Oh.
content ideas for July second week. I have content ideas done for July second week. Quick note: I said content ideas. I did not say content on a whole. All I
Mm-hmm.
need was a content idea that I can actually relate when it comes to the campaign, that actually goes back and ties with the campaign that I'm actually
Yeah.
promoting. For July second week, I got all things nailed down. And whenever I have to go and create content, I spend 1 day. I'm 1 week ahead of my content. Let's suppose the videos that you're watching is something that I've actually created last week. So I spend 1 week ahead, and I plan like one video on Mondays, one video on Wednesdays, and one video on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And I
Whoa.
put there. That's it.
Oh, wow.
I do not spend much of time there because that is more like evergreen stuff. That is something that generates me leads down the line, not right
Mm-hmm.
now. So the rest of
Mm-hmm.
the days I spend having conversations. I spend talking to people to generate leads right now. Again, I'm
Mm-hmm.
covering the two basic aspects: generating leads right now, generating leads down the line.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah, that is something that you can actually do if you do not want to go with the ads. I was in the ads, I did the ads, completely worked for me. I chose to be in the organic side just because I wanted to know my customers better. I'm just spending it for fun because I already got customers. I do not. I'm in need of customers more, so spending time building that relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
might not be in the case, so you want leads right now. So do sell right now.
Mm-hmm. So okay, you spend a half day brainstorming ideas, right? Just
Correct.
ideas. Okay.
Just
And when do
ideas.
you okay, just ideas like content headlines, kind of like that.
Headline,
Yeah.
that's it. I do not
Okay.
go into the details. I just put a headline. When it comes to YouTube, I do spend a little bit of time just to go rank for the SEO and stuff. So that
Mm-hmm.
takes me a little bit of time. But if you are on social media platforms like Facebook group, Facebook page, Facebook, Instagram, SEO doesn't play much of like game there. So you can create
Mm-hmm.
content to consume. You can actually come up with content ideas that actually aligns with the campaign easier.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So okay, so when do you record all of stuff? All of the stuff? Do you batch record or is there any, how do you how's your schedule look like when recording?
Okay, that's a really interesting question. My schedule, I did batch recording. I did on the spot recording. I did both of them. The one that seemed to be working for me is like I create 1 week's worth of content like every Monday, like every Tuesday. I spend one video. I create just one video. I did not want to overburden myself. One video it is, and I know the topic that I'm actually creating content around. So I do my research. I put the headlines. I practice stuff. Again, whenever you see someone on the videos on YouTube or Facebook group, Facebook, whatever platform it is,
Hmm.
they practiced it. And don't expect that they are talking like that just because they are born like that. No, I spend like approximately 4 hours planning my scripts to understand what this is a motto that I plan by. Again, I'll say this, I'll tie this at the end. The motto that I stand by is in my YouTube channel is I want you to get you results before we even start working with you.
Hmm. Yeah.
And when I say that, my content should actually, I'm leveling up my content, I'm pressuring myself to go to the next level. And if my content has to deliver on that specific result that I'm actually sharing, it should not be the same thing that everyone else teaches. It should actually get you results like it says.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually spend one day creating one piece of content. That's it.
Wow.
And I'm just 1 week ahead.
That's cool.
And it did work. It is working for me. For you, it might be saying that, hey, I spend like three
Mm-hmm.
days creating 3 months worth of content. Completely cool. There is no one specific solution fit for all. You need to
Yeah.
understand what works for you. When it comes to creating content, you can create content. There were times when I was working alongside Steve, I created content on that specific day. That is completely cool.
So you
As long
batch.
as you are consistent, it doesn't matter what when you're actually planning content, as long as you're consistent and your quality is up, that is good. So yeah,
Mm.
which that
Awesome.
gives you insights on my calendar, my scheduling stuff.
Yeah, that's cool because I never know how people do YouTube. I don't know how their schedule look like for
Hmm.
YouTuber.
I know. It's a similar stuff. Like no matter what social media platform it is, like you need to have a plan. If you're not having a plan, you are not moving forward. And if you're not moving forward, you're just going down. Not moving forward doesn't mean that you're consistent. You're going down. That is what I see it as. So you need to
Wow.
have a plan to understand what you're actually going ahead, what are actually going to create content around. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and the more
All
complex it
right. So,
is,
all
go ahead.
right. Cool. And all right. So now you already created content, right? And we want to
True.
feel that content with people, right? We want people to consume it. So how do you get leads
Correct.
to consume your content?
So I'll be talking with respect to YouTube. So whatever the pieces of content that
Yeah.
I create, I'll be talking around us. Not something that start I start riffing off. I come up with. These are the questions that I actually spend understanding that, hey, people are asking questions around this. When people are asking questions around that specific topic, it actually means that people are actually searching for it. And there are two things that you can actually do. There is one thing that I'm actually doing, I'm following right now. I'll be sharing another thing that you can actually do. First thing,
Mm-hmm.
leveraging the platform itself. Let's suppose if you are publishing content on YouTube, YouTube actually promotes your content if you are doing it right. If you spend the time to understand what your customers are asking, if you are creating content that is actually searchable, if people are looking for it, if people are actually clicking on your thumbnail, then YouTube actually does not have any reason to stop promoting your videos. So definitely every platform, no matter what it is, it actually encourages people to go ahead and create promote their piece of content, because the more it encourages people, the more it actually shares their content, the longer the audience are going to be on that platform. And that is a really good thing for the platform itself. That
Yeah.
is what at the end of the day the platforms are all striving for.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So I leverage that specific thing. The reason I leverage only that piece is because I'm not in a hurry of leads. I'm creating all the content for down the line leads, because I already have my clients I'm already working with on a one-on-one basis. I no longer need more clients. So I'm just planning my strategy to get leads down the line, just in case if one of my clients says that, Surya, I do not want to work with you anymore. So just I'm building my waiting list by creating content. And you might be
Oh,
not, that is the beauty of it. That is the beauty of it. And let's suppose you might be saying
okay.
that, hey, I do not I want to have more views because I do not have any people that I can talk to right now. There are no leads right now. I need to build my list. So the first thing that you can actually do is like promote your piece on other social media platforms, but you do not create content segmenting all the videos like this. Like let's suppose use when I say segmenting, it's like cropping the video from the specific video that you're watching, cropping it and putting on social media platforms and stuff. I just take the link of it and I say that, hey, if you are here, if you're on my Facebook page or if you're on my friends list, here is a video that I have. Click it. And the best part is, whenever I share that video on my other social media platforms without actually editing stuff, it actually seems to be working for me. I got like 35 views just by not even promoting it anywhere. I put the link,
Wow.
I took the link, put it there. It's staying just there. In fact, if you go
Yeah.
to my Facebook page, if you go to my Facebook profile, it actually is on my Facebook banner,
Yeah.
and people are
There's a
actually clicking
cover.
on it. I was thinking that people do not have the time to click on my banner and click on the link in the description section of the banner. But I was wrong. I was proved wrong. And that is what
Uh-huh.
matters. I want to test what's working, what's not working. If it works for you, completely go ahead and start promoting on other social media platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Or, on the contrary, let's say you are in a state that, hey, I do not have very much following on any other social media platforms, but I want to create content on YouTube. The other thing that you can
Mm.
actually do is like exactly the same thing that I'm doing right now, jumping on interviews, getting tapping into the untapped audience. Now,
Yeah.
when I actually deliver value, real value, people are actually going to check me out. You would be you people actually will check you out to see if actually what you say is actually worth it or not. That's the reason I do not
Yeah.
want to hold anything here. If I hold, I'm not a really good planner. I'm not strategically thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
share all the golden nuggets that I can and I will share on this podcast, on this interviews, no matter what interview it is. I share my the best so that you will check me out on other profiles and eventually you will end up on YouTube for sure. Because no matter what I do, I'm driving, all the traffic sources comes to YouTube. That is the
Nice.
core of it. So yeah.
So, are you doing a lot of interviews right now, or is this
I started doing interviews.
nice?
I've got time. I'm not in a hurry. I've got time. I've got clients. I've
Okay.
got my content coming in. So what else I can do? Think one best question that you can actually ask yourself whenever you have nothing to do is like, what can I do to promote this piece of content? What else can I
Mm-hmm.
do? What are
All
others
right.
doing that I'm not doing to promote a piece of content?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is a really good question that helped me, and I believe that would help you as well.
So you kind of treat your YouTube like a low ticket
Hub,
offer, right? So if
correct.
someone doesn't want to
Really
buy
great
your
point.
stuff, you just tell them to watch your YouTube channel, right? So it's kind of like a
Exactly.
low ticket offer. Wow.
Exactly. It's the
Wow.
front end of the funnel.
Yeah.
Again, since we are going back to the funnels, the one thing that is that I see many people doing this and I do not believe in that. Again, just want to share it just to give you a different insight, different perspective on it. So
Mm.
you drive traffic to whatever the social media platform that you're creating content on. In my case, it is YouTube. I put a lot of content on YouTube and people are actually consuming content on YouTube. And the call to action, some of people might be doing this, some of you might be doing this, saying that, hey, if you want this lead magnet, go to this place,
Yeah.
click it, go buy the gig with the lead magnet, and it is free.
Mm-hmm.
So you have
Mm-hmm.
no reason for you to not go ahead and not get the lead magnet, right? I am
Mm-hmm.
not doing that. Every person on my list should be and only should be a buyer. I do not
Dang.
want freeloaders on my list, and freeloaders can completely focus on my YouTube channel. And I'm not undervaluing my content there. So I'm actually saying that, hey, my whole goal is to create content that actually gets you results. So you do not have to buy from me, and I do not have to lose anything there. And if you
Mm-hmm.
want to learn from more from me, and the biggest question that everyone has, no matter how much content you share with them, is like, hey, I've learned this thing. How does this apply for me? Ever asked yourself that?
Yeah. Yeah. Of course I
The
have.
how
Yeah.
that applies for you is what you sell.
Yeah. So
So that's
okay.
one of the reasons I do not have to hold back on the content that I publish on YouTube. So that the question
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day comes like, hey, thanks for sharing this content. Beautiful. Now I want to take this piece of content and I want to understand how this works for me. And if you want to work with me, there's going to be a link in the below description. Click it, go to the next page, and let's work. That is one of my call to actions. Always have a
Yeah.
call to action.
Yeah, I remember going to that page that you mentioned, the video that
Correct.
you showed there in that
Correct.
funnel. Yeah, that is so cool.
That is simple.
And yeah. And okay, so let's talk about your content marketing, okay? Like
Sure.
what kind of framework do you use when you put out content? Is there a framework you use, or
Okay.
did you just tell
Yes.
stories? or?
I do tell stories. The one thing that I would go look for is like, again, coming back to the core. I should not be the person who is coming up with the content ideas. I
Mm-hmm.
always look at my customers, and I believe that I'm actually spending like 6 7 hours researching my customers, and I have a buddy who actually spends 1 month researching a customer, researching the
Wow.
details. And I do not have that kind of patience, and I'm still working on my way to learn that patience. And I was like, what do you search for 1 month? And I'm really, I'm not in a place I can spend. I do not know how much content that I can actually go ahead and research on for 1 month. But yeah, there are people. So as much time as you spend, the more details that you can actually get, the
Mm.
better. So once I get the video titled, the first thing that I would look is like, how can I relate this to my campaign?
Mm-hmm.
What Once I understand that part, the next section that is like, what call to action would call, but that would relate to this video. The very first thing, I do not come up with content ideas. I do not come up with the 3 steps, 4 steps, 5 steps thingy. I come up with the call to action.
Mm-hmm.
Now, after coming up with the call to action, I look at like the thumbnails. This is for YouTube.
Okay.
What thumbnails get the attention? I do not. Whenever I start going into the details, I will lose sight of the result itself. So the one thing that I started doing was like, previously I was doing the thumbnail at the end. Now I'm actually tweaking the entire process. I'm doing the thumbnail in the front so that I know the exact result that I have to, that my content should deliver, because my thumbnail is already there and I do not have the patience to go ahead and create my thumbnail again. I'm not that person. If it's
Okay.
done, it is done. I do not want to be a perfectionist. I have been there, I have done that. Did not work for me, did not help me move forward, so I'm not going to do that. So if I'm decided on one thing, I'm not going to go ahead and tweak it. And the best
Yeah.
part is, whenever you mess things up, that becomes your story, and you can those are the best stories that you can actually share to anyone from a stage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy to fail faster rather than succeeding slower. I want to fail faster, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so I create my thumbnails and I create my pieces of content that will help them deliver the result that is actually talking in the thumbnail itself, and relate at the end of the day, relate back to the call to action. And if you are saying like, how do I come up with the steps, or 3 steps or 4 steps, Russell Brunson actually said something like hook, story, offer. And there is a entire webinar slides, webinar template, like I believe perfect webinar scripts. If you bought Expert Secrets book, there is a complete webinar script there. Just crunch it down. You do not have to go into that much detail. If you're on podcast, again, look at what platform you're creating content on, and how much is the average retention rate, how much time the content is the average that people are actually creating it on. For example, podcast can be somewhere like 20 to 35 minutes. On YouTube,
Yeah.
the ideal time is like somewhere between 7 to 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
On
Yep.
Instagram, if you create for 15 30 minutes, no one is going to watch it. I get that. No one did
Yep.
watch my IGTV videos.
Oh my gosh.
And you put a lot of effort into it, and when you see that no one is actually watching, you would get depressed. 150%. And prepare yourself to get depressed when you're actually leveraging content, when you're actually creating content. The intent of the content is to not to get results right now. It's like more of an evergreen strategy, where as you create content and content and content, eventually there will be a point where you'll actually get like an elevated scale. For some odd reason, all the videos seems to be going up. That is exactly what happened to me. Like, I was creating content for the past 2 weeks, right? And there was this one video that caught like higher level of views than any other video, and based on that, all the remaining videos are getting views. I was like, oh, good. That really helped me getting back to my encouragement. Because there will be sometimes that we'll be feeling like, why am I actually
Yeah.
creating this? Because no one is
Which
actually
which
seeing it.
which video is that? Which video is that?
Which video? There is this one shot I created, which which has highest retention that I've ever saw. Like, it was somewhere between like 60% or so. And I was like, oh, that video is actually getting attention to the other videos. Very good thing. So all you have to do
Uh-huh.
is like create content that actually at a point will resonate with your audience, that will actually get the views, the attention for the other pieces of content as well. So create as
Mm.
much as content that you can, test as many pieces of ideas, as many strategies that you have to by creating content around it, because you do not know what piece of content that your ideal customer actually resonates with at that point of time. As soon as they click, it goes off.
Yeah. So okay, so the process here you took was you create a CTA first, and then you create a thumbnail
Correct.
second, right? CTA,
Correct. And
thumbnail,
then
and
go into
then
the go
the
into the
content,
strategies and stuff.
the whole story office stuff, right?
Hook story, for simple it is this: the every time that I make the system, the process complicated, I was not taking action, and
Uh-huh.
that is not really good. That is not a good really direction for me. So I made it simple. If I cannot put it on a piece of on a piece of paper, I will not do it. And there's this thing that we call something called fifth grader. I'm sure you believe that. I'm sure you know that. So whenever you
Mm-hmm.
share something, if you can explain it to a fifth grader, you are good.
Oh yeah. Okay, I've heard that.
So
Yeah.
all my strategies, all my things, I pen down to so that I can actually explain it to a fifth grader. If I cannot do that, fifth grader meaning I have there is a neighbor of mine who is actually studying fifth grade. I go to him and say that, hey, could you understand this?
Seriously.
He'll be giving me a
Wow.
blank look saying that, why the heck
Oh
are you
my
disturbing
gosh.
me? So I take chocolate with me and I give it to him saying that, hey, could you please listen to me? And that's what I did, man. Do everything that you have to do to validate your idea. Don't hold back.
Wow.
And there
Okay.
is a
And
benefit for
then
the guy.
yeah, yeah, and then you have to create another fifth grader, right? Because you only
Yes,
have one.
true. And I have been looking
Okay.
for another one. But yeah, it's
Uh,
so hard to find fifth graders now.
oh my gosh. Okay, so all right. So do you have anything that you are promoting right now that because I want to know how's your campaign look like? Like how do you
So if I'm
promote your
promoting
stuff?
right now, okay, the one thing that I'm actually promoting right now is something called my monthly mentoring for YouTube. If someone is actually starting from YouTube and want to generate leads down the line, not right now,
Yeah.
down the line, and want to leverage YouTube to get that, then that is the one offer that I'm actually promoting. And here is another insight that I've got: the campaign actually can be modified based on the platform. Let me give you an example what I mean by that. So in YouTube, you can create individual campaigns and have multiple promotions at the same point of time, because at one point of time, at every second, there is one customer only watching one video of yours, and that
Mm.
video has one call to action, not many, one call to action. And that can lead up to my monthly mentoring, or there can be another video that is for the high-end clients where that might lead out to my one-on-one done for you kind of things, where we leverage YouTube ads and ramp up their business.
Yeah.
So that is the beauty of YouTube, that's I believe in. And again, same goes for podcasting. At one point of time, your audience are going to listen to one single episode. So
Hmm.
based on that episode, what is the call to action that you want to get people to take? And
Is
that is
yeah.
when you can actually do when you have a value ladder set in. And
Hmm.
you do not, if you might be in a stage that, hey, I do not have a value ladder, I do not have anything to promote. The very best advice that I would have given to myself 6 years before when I was starting out is like, close your clients first. Get get validating. One of the things, let me know if you have ever jumped on a sales call and experienced this. One of the biggest, I jumped on 1,000+ sales calls back when I was a high ticket closer. I was closing
Wow.
deals for other people's, and I jumped on 1,000+ sales calls, and one of the biggest objection that I got was like, Surya, can you give me a little bit of testimonials? Is there someone that you can actually refer me to. Have you ever came across that objection?
No, I never do. I never done a sales call. I usually close on Messenger. I'm not
Oh, that's
comfortable
good, man. That's
in a
really
sales
good thing.
call.
I did not have that equipment back then. The biggest thing that I faced was like, can you give me testimonials? This was for the person that I was actually closing for. And I was like, you already have all the testimonials. What else do you need from me? But yeah, that was the inside thought that I was going. But yeah,
Okay.
whenever someone asked for a testimonial, I believed that they were asking me to share like similar people that have achieved results. Actually, what they're asking is like, hey, do you have a proven process that have actually worked for someone else? How likely is it that I can actually implement your process, your frameworks, your systems? That is the whole thing that they are asking. I did not know it back then. So if you are just starting out, the very first thing that I would say is like, onboard someone, validate your offer, validate your frameworks, validate your system, and then start creating content along the way as you start getting results to your clients. Because
Hmm.
once you start creating content, the one thing that I did back then was like 4 or 5 years back, I hope that my content would get me clients. And the further the date goes, I was getting depressed, like every single second I was going down and down and down. Not a really good um, place to be in. And I do not want you to do the same mistake that I did. So when you have no leads, when you have no clients, the very first thing that you need to be doing is like talk to clients. And the best part is people are really happy to help you. You say the one thing that you can actually start doing is like, this is the front end thing that I actually in that we actually talk about in the monthly mentorship, saying that if you do not have clients, the first thing that you have to do is like talk to the other person. One of my biggest fears is like, I'm so scared to talk to the person. I'm not so sure if that's the same case for you.
Yeah,
I'm
that's the same
scared
case.
to death when it comes to talking to the other person. If I at least, especially when I have to initiate the conversation.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
mean, I
I,
can.
uh-huh.
Yeah,
Go
for
ahead.
me, I usually can do interviews, but I'm not comfortable in a sales call. Like, I don't know why.
I know,
I
I know,
yeah,
I know. I
yeah,
have
but
been there.
yeah, but when I close on Messenger, usually the bad part is, they can just ghost me, right? In a sales call,
Correct.
they cannot ghost me, so that's the kind of like a cons there.
True, true, true. And if you do not have, if you are feeling like me, who is like afraid to jump on a sales call or afraid to talk to the other person, especially if you are initiating them, start with the best pitch you ever say. Say that, hey, I'm not here to pitch you.
Mm,
That takes out like 60-70% of the stress from you. Say that I'm not here to pitch you. I saw that we are connected and just want to share you hi by actually not pitching you. How are you doing? How are you doing, by the way?
wow.
60 to 70% of my stress is gone because I already said them that I'm not pitching them. Now my whole goal is to like add value and get them results before they actually start working with me.
Yeah, yeah. Give them
If
a
you
quick
actually
win, right?
can help them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one thing that you can actually start doing. But yeah, at the end of the day, I would say like create content no matter what it is. As
Hmm.
you're talking to one-on-one guys, as you're getting leads, create content so that they will actually stay on your behalf and generate leads. Even though if it's not right enough, they will be happy to generate leads down the line. That is the best part of creating content.
Mm. All right. So, okay. So the way you create content is when you get objection first, and then you create content for that objection. If you can
Yes.
answer the objections, right?
Sure, for sure. Definitely, you should be doing that. There is something called education based content and objection based content. Education based content is something like you are educating your customers so that they are at a stage where they are ready to opt into your offer. And as
Mm-hmm.
you are doing that, there will be a type of content where you're saying, like, hey, if they see this offer, what are the possible objections that people would ask me and say that, hey, have you ever asked, have you been said that, hey, uh, your price is too high? Of course my price is too high because I get them results. That is why I do not want everyone to come join my program. In fact, it is for the best of the best people. I'm not against helping people who are not at that level, but my content is just, I'm creating this piece of content just so that I can actually educate you and get you results before you come and start working with me. So if you are not at that point of time, watch my content and take action on this, because that is the reason I'm creating content. But if you are at that level, go ahead and take action. What's
Yeah.
stopping you from taking action and stuff? So objection based content.
Mm. Yeah, give them a quick win first, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is the best
All
thing
right.
that I believe that you
Yeah.
can give to the other person. Like, get them results first, and they have no reason to not working with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I
So
believe in person as well.
how, yeah, so is there a person that's come back to you once they watch your content?
Oh yeah, there was the guy who called me like out of the blue yesterday, and a couple of days back, like day before yesterday, he called me. I was in the middle of the work. He called me and said that, Surya, I loved your video. I was like, okay. I did not know who he was. I did not know what he wanted me with. And he called me out of the blue and said like, hey
Uh-huh.
Surya, I loved your video, and I want to talk with you on how I can actually leverage the platform. I was like, oh, that's a really good video. Which video did you watch, man? I wanted to promote that video. If that video has helped the other person to call me out of the blue and reach out to me because he believed that I can actually help him results, it's like, I want to get more eyeballs to that video for sure.
Dang.
So that does happen.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah. I
I
mean,
know.
for us
One of
creators
the
usually
best
get.
experiences.
Yep. Yep. So okay, so we are close to an end today. So Surya, where can people find more about you and how to connect with you?
So the best place for to learn more from me is my YouTube channel. Unless you're at a point where you already learned a lot from me enough and you want to implement stuff,
Yeah.
you go to coachmesurya.com, and there is a quick little video. That is where my monthly mentorship is going on right now. If you want to join that, that is cool. But if you're at a point you want to learn more from me, the best place is for you to learn more from me is from my YouTube channel. So these are the two things that are the best places. If you want to connect with me, DM me on Messenger. As I already said, I'm scared to death when it comes to initiating a conversation. If you initiate the conversation, I'm super happy to have that. Is so easy for me. So feel free to reach out to me and say that, hey, I listened to your podcast, and I was like, okay, he's not scolding me, and I'll be happy to have a
Yeah.
conversation with you.
Yeah, just tell Surya that hey, you came from Ashraf, right?
For sure, for sure. I'll give definitely a shout out for that.
Yeah. All right. So Surya, thank you for sharing your ideas and insights with us. Really happy to have you here, man.
I'm happy that I was able to share a lot, man. I believe I was able to help at least move a needle a little bit for the people who are actually watching this video to your audience. And if there is anything else that would help you faster your results, again, this is the motto that I stand by: get your results before I start working with me. And I stand by that no matter what time frame it is. So I want to get you, if I can get you results before we work, I'm happy to do this. How many, no matter how many times it is. So yeah, I'm always happy to be here.
Awesome. All right. And for the listeners, I'll catch you another time.
Adios.
Okay. One sec. Oh my gosh.
Sure.